What are you doing, Tina?
What are you doing, Jenny?
We are two women living our best lives in the Black Hills of South Dakota, sharing our stories, laughs, and projects happening in the garage.
Whether you're looking for a bit of joy, a spark of creativity, or just a comforting voice, you can find it here. Unicorn!
Good morning.
Welcome to the shit show.
Exactly.
Your voice is so pretty.
I know.
Thank you.
Can you sing us a couple bars of something?
What do you want to hear?
Anything that
Ladies'
you want.
choice.
See, my mind's going blank. I don't know what song to sing.
Sing a hymn. Sing a
How about a
church hymn.
couple bars of Amazing Grace?
All right. Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found.
That is incredible, Amy.
Well, thank you.
That's so beautiful. You make me want to cry every
You're
time you
so
sing
talented.
the Song of an Angel. So beautiful.
Thanks,
Such
guys.
a wonderful gift. I've often thought if I could have a talent that I would have picked the gift of song. Yeah.
Why don't you sing? Can I hear?
I think I'm tone deaf.
I think we're good.
I think Jenny and I
We're
both,
good.
you know, we talk about how many times that we have met in prior lives. And in every prior life, we have both been tone deaf, just like this one.
Well, you have other gifts.
Yeah. Song is not.
Thank
one
God
of
for
them.
that.
Yeah, thank God for that. Well, there we go.
How would you like to start today? Should we start with what just happened? Should we read a message?
I do feel like what just
What
happened,
just happened?
is going to be an excellent introduction into the shit show that we deal with every day. You know, and it's not just us. Like, it's when you have kids, it is a constant fire hose of problems and putting things out.
Yes, it is.
It comes in as fast as you can get it out.
And I don't think what just happened could get any more interesting.
It is barely 7 a.m. and we have already had a family phone call, including all parents and all children on a group call because
Yeah, Henry left the house at like 6 o'clock this morning to go to the gym and work out. Now that football is over, he's got a little morning free time, and called us and said, so I'm at the Sinclair station and I'm pretty sure I've locked not one set of keys, but my spare set of keys in my car. But I do have one AirPod in my ear. And I was able to muster a, "Hey Siri, call Mom." And it heard me.
oh my gosh.
So we will let the rest of you hear that in person. I was able to capture all but like the first 45 seconds of this escapade. And
Yeah.
so then
we dialed in Claire because she's at home still and there's a spare key, only she wasn't answering right away. Their dad wasn't answering right away
because he has a spare set
because he has a spare set up there.
at his house.
So finally, we get everyone on a call. Henry's standing outside his car with one AirPod in his ear. Claire's like, "I can't hear very good because I'm talking to you on my Apple Watch, but I'm looking for the key." And Terry's up at his house rifling through Henry's desk to try to find the spare key. Tina's telling Claire where the spare key is at our house. So she finds that. So she's on her way to rescue her brother.
Yep.
Who's standing outside his vehicle with one AirPod in, looking forlorn.
And I loved how the phone call ended. Can one of you hang up? Because I can't do it.
It's such a Henry thing, too.
Totally.
He's so freaking funny.
He has the best sense of humor.
He's got a great sense of humor, and his comedic timing, just the pace of his words and his voice. He's just a funny kid.
Do you remember that there was like a TikTok video that went around about the guy like catching a fish, and he's like, "Take the picture, Brad. Take the picture." He's holding out, and Henry did a reenactment of that with his friend. And it was so funny. Like, the kid has great comedic timing, and he's just all in,
He's like, one of the things I love about Henry is he's totally all in. Like, he is up for anything.
Yep.
No matter how goofy, how, like, it might be, some kids might think, oh my gosh, I'm not doing that. That's embarrassing. People are going to watch me. People are going to see me. Henry is just like, wow, this is going to be great. Let's go.
Yeah.
I wonder where he gets it.
I don't know.
Oh, and he's 18 now, and it was so funny because, I've been trying to like transfer some adulting responsibilities over to him. And so normally when his ADD medicine runs out, it's a simple text to his mother to handle all that, right? And so this time I said, "You're 18." I said, "Call. Here's the number to call. Tell them you need a refill and like manage the process," right? And so he calls to get a refill. He leaves a message. The doctor calls back, and he gets the message. He's like, "Now what do I do?" I go, "Return the call." And he goes, "Isn't there an easier way to do this?" And I was like, "You mean like asking me to do all the same things I'm telling you to do?" I said, "No, unfortunately there's not. Like, you have to call, you got to return the call to the provider for them to refill your medicine." He was like, "Oh, this is a lot. It's a lot."
It is a lot.
It was literally 2 phone calls, but it was a lot. So.
Kids don't like phone calls. They just need to text.
Right.
Right.
Isn't there like a mobile app that I can just push a couple of buttons?
For every 18-year-old called Manage My Life that's like AI powered,
Right.
Where we could just put some
that,
tech on
I'm gonna
it.
write that down as an
know.
idea.
I'm telling you.
She really is. You're really writing that down?
I did.
Yep.
Manage my life.
Wow, that's
Yep.
awesome. What a way to start the day.
What a way to start the day.
But, Tina,
Yeah.
you got the coolest message last night.
I did.
That you were in our TikTok account and you got a message. And so I would love for you to share it if you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Is this mailbag?
It's a mailbag.
It's a mailbag. This is for sure a mailbag. We get so many messages in here. So the fact that I randomly came across this one to read, let me just get into it and it'll all unfold. So this is from a follower named Jeremy. Sent last Tuesday. So again, it's, almost a week later before I'm getting to his message.
It's a good problem to have.
And he starts out, he says, "I don't condone your lifestyle because of my beliefs, but you are 2 of the nicest, smartest, kindest, most incredible people I have ever come across in my life. Tina is incredible with all of her knowledge on a million different things, and so polite and encouraging to share her knowledge of those things with others. And you, Jenny, are an incredible person as well, especially to open up your life to the world and invite us in. I wish you 2 nothing but happiness and God's blessing on your life." So I'm reading this at 7:30 last night.
This is also, I just want to sidebar that this type of message is one of Tina's favorite types of messages. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I read this message and I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. I'm going to reply to this dude. And I say, "Hi, Jeremy. It's so kind of you to reach out, and thank you for the compliments. We appreciate you. It's so nice to find common ground with another amazing human, even if we don't agree on every little thing in the world. That's what we should all strive for. Common ground, grace, mutual appreciation for one another, mad respect, sir. Cheers. Tina. And as soon as I hit the little envelope to send it, I see the 3 dots.
Ooh, he was waiting.
Which I didn't know that TikTok had, because I've never been like in a live messaging situation. And he responds back right away. And he says, absolutely. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to respond back to me. I hope you and your wonderful family have an amazing week and a wonderful holiday season. I hope you recover quickly from your hernia and everything goes well with that. Looking forward to more videos and adventures with you. And I said, dude, this is awesome. This is what life and connection and community and being a good human and neighbor is about. I am so stinking glad you messaged and we have had this. Please stay in touch here. Grateful to, air quote, know you. Blessings and love to you and your family. Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas. I can't believe the season is here. And he immediately responds back again. And he says, this absolutely is what it's all about. Grateful to know you as well, Tina. Thank you so much. I know I can't believe it's here already. It seems like just yesterday we were starting this year. It has flown by so fast. And it is one of my favorite types of messages to get, because there's so many things that you can attribute it to, whether it was COVID or, the political arena or the climate that we're in, take your pick, throw a dart at a board, find what sticks for you. But for me, the reason that this is one of my favorite types of messages to get is because I know I'm going in to somebody to have a conversation with somebody that we already don't agree on something. And we still have found a way to find a common thing to converse about. And it's okay to do that. And I think as a society, we have gotten into this mindset of, if you do not believe everything that I do, if you don't support every single cause and principle that I stand on, then there's discord. And instead of having an organic or authentic conversation about what makes us different, there is an immediate barrier that goes up and people close up and shut down, and that is it. It's like the Heisman, right? It's, I'm giving you the no. And for Jeremy to take the time, like, he didn't have to take time to send that message. I could have gone my whole life and not known him and not known that in one arena he finds benefit out of what we're saying and doing. But in another arena, which frankly is more principled for him,
his religious beliefs.
Exactly. We don't align. But he is a big enough person. He is a respectable human being toward another human being to say, we don't agree on this one thing, but I see you and I appreciate you. And that is freaking cool.
Yeah.
It's not something that I think we find often in modern society life with each other. I had coffee with a girlfriend last Friday with Nina, and we were just talking about how right now it kind of feels like we're living in this parody of America almost, where we've forgotten how to have civil discourse with one another, no matter what our views are on, I don't know, pick a thing, right? I mean, there's the big ones, right? Like, don't talk about religion, sex, and politics at the Thanksgiving dinner table. But I think it goes further than that, about a pervasive attitude that I feel exists in our society where we're looking for reasons to disagree with someone rather than approaching it from the other way, which is what's our common ground? Like, what can we agree on? And, I do a lot of this, and, one of the things I try to teach my team is about, well, what's your objective? Like, if you're going into a situation communicating with anyone about anything, what is where are you hoping to end up? And, a lot of times if your objective is to build rapport, trust, get someone to disclose and open up to you so that you're able to be a helper to them, those relationships aren't built on what we have that's not going right. I mean, we have to agree to come together in a place of commonality. Like, what can we agree on? Can we agree that, this situation's important, that we have to help this person, and that we're going to have to come together from our different viewpoints to do that? And that applies to, so many situations. And I wish we didn't judge people based on whatever their beliefs are, but we learn to respect them for how they feel if it's different from how we feel, and like them anyway.
Jenny, often in a conversation of maybe differing opinion or conflict, will lead with a statement like that. Can we agree? And it automatically kind of brings
down the temperature.
It does. It kind of diffuses some of the anger or the aggressiveness of the situation. Especially, I see her do this a lot in her professional life. And my comment, my statement in that same arena is, help me understand. And so we're attempting to do the same thing. Is, look, I understand that you see this differently than I do, so help me understand. Help me understand what you're trying to achieve. Help me understand your opinion. Help me understand what your life experience has been to shape that feeling for you. Yeah.
And I think, too, a little bit of, in communication theory, it's called identity management, where, so many times I think people that are really dug into what their beliefs are and really passionate about that don't leave a lot of room for other people to have a different opinion. And so sometimes you have to manage your own identity in a conversation to meet someone where they're at. So it's not just because I feel a certain way about X, Y, and Z that I have to tell you about X, Y, and Z and all of the, sub bullets and the sub bullets under that why I'm right. And, I think a lot of times it comes down to, do you want to be right, or do you want to be productive? Like, is it more important for me to be right and assert my personal opinion in this situation? Or is it more important to set that aside and achieve the communication objective and the goal that we're there to work on that day? And that takes a destruction of some of your ego. And, thank you, therapy.
You should talk more about ego. Because I think a lot of people live in that ego world,
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean
what
where?
do you mean?
How do you choose not to live in ego?
Tell me more about that. Like what your perception is.
When you're thinking about your self-gain over what the good outcome should be in a situation, the kind outcome.
Yeah. And are you talking about feeling that personally, or you're seeing that from the other person?
Both.
Yeah. So I think that, it's that whole thing, like, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? In some sense.
Yeah.
Where I do think that it takes a certain willingness to deconstruct our ego. And with the deconstruction of our ego, or the tearing down of I'm right, I'm this, I'm that, me, right? There can be room. There can be room for we, and there can be room for our. But if you're so dug into what your position is because somebody challenging that actually challenges your ego, then maybe it's not the most productive situation. If you're seeing that ego from someone else where they have the need to always be right and they have the need to always, kind of win the day, so to speak, then I do a thing, I call it playing the boob, which I got that out of a book somewhere. But I will turn into my identity management to deal with someone like that is then I sort of become a little ditzy in a way, where I just start asking a bunch of questions that are, kind of real basic in order to help me understand where they're coming from. But when I do that and I set down my ego and I'm willing to be a little, scatterbrained in the moment. Oh, I'm sorry, help me understand. Then they get to say what they want to say, but they also don't view me as a threat. Mm-hmm. And so then they're like, I'm sure in their mind, they're like, well, I know everything. And this lady clearly is addle-brained. She didn't get enough sleep last night, or she didn't take her meds or whatever, but I'm going to help her. And so sometimes it's meeting in that space where, I kind of take the more submissive role so that I can sneak in the side door, and just say, now that I've disarmed them and we're able to talk about it and they think they have the upper hand, and then I can just say, something just occurred to me. What if we tried this? And then all of a sudden we're on the same team. We're on the same side of the fence. And so, that's kind of how I approach ego. And I also think if you're in the business of problem solving with people, your ego is not your amigo.
No, right.
It is not.
That's so true.
Right. You're not going to be remembered for your ego. You're going to be remembered for the opposite.
No. Yeah. How many times have you been in an exchange with someone and you're like, man, that was amazing. They really handed my ass to me.
Right.
No one ever says that.
Right.
Right? They really showed me how dumb I was. No.
That is a good point.
Yeah. Does that answer the question a little bit?
Yeah. It's just hard to make that choice.
It is, for sure. Jenny is so good at the way that she inserts herself and manipulates, in the most positive way of that word, the situation to kind of diffuse. And, my approach is a little bit different. I tend to, as an observation, when people are very ego-driven in a conversation, they tend to be loud. Mm-hmm. They tend to be very animated in how they're speaking, a lot of body language, a lot of hand movement. They can lean forward. There's a lot of that. So it's almost like an aggressive posturing. And what works for me is to really almost feel my whole kind of positioning from the center, from my soul.
Yep, from your heart space.
Yep. My whole positioning takes a step back. I don't get small. I just put distance there. There's a little bit of space. So I will then try to diffuse by touch first.
I've seen you do this.
Hand on the shoulder, or almost like a bowing and a hand down to invite them in, and I'm so sorry, how can I help? It's an invitation. It's the inflection of the tone of your voice moves downward instead of upward, which automatically diffuses.
The other thing that I teach my team is a tactic I call low and slow. So when somebody is elevated, right? When they have pressured speech and they're clearly like emotional and you can kind of feel that tension in their voice. If I meet them up here like this and I'm like feeding into that and I'm matching kind of their energy, because that's what our natural tendency is to mirror what someone is, how someone is acting. We tend to mirror that. But if you can take a situation like that and recognize what's happening and take a beat, and instead of up here and I'm doing this and I'm trying to talk real fast because I'm trying to get you to change your mind and you're wrong about it. If I come in,
right?
If I come in though and I say, Amy, and I purposely drop the tone of my voice,
Just saying my name, I'm like,
and
I'm in
then
trouble.
I purposely slow down the cadence of my words and I'm down here. What does that do to you then?
Slows me down.
It
Slows
does.
you down and brings you down here.
It like the air in the room kind of deflates a little bit, right?
And so I think that's a really powerful tool in communication, because nothing good happens up there at that pressured, like, anxious, whatever, emotional state that's in. And so, one of the comments I get from, people who work with me is like, what takes me so long to do, you do it so fast. Get people kind of turned around and into this other mode where we can actually be productive and have a conversation about moving ahead. And low and slow is just something that I've worked on. And it's also one of the ways to influence the energy in a room. So, if you're going to a meeting that is charged, right? Maybe it's not a fun meeting, right? If you can employ some of those low, slow tactics, looking people in the eye, kind of basically setting the example so that you're inviting everyone else in that meeting to match your approach, your tone, the way that you're showing up with open body language and ready, that you're ready to be engaged in the conversation, that can be a really powerful tool.
And I've found in my experience too, there's a couple of phrases that work really well for me. And one of them is, again, generally with a touch or with me doing something like this, or like, an extension of an arm. Again, I'm not trying to tell you that you need to be small. You don't need to cower and take it. That's not what this is. This is a strategy to diffuse a situation and to immediately come in and say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so, hand on your chest. I'm so sorry that I made you feel that way. I'm so sorry that we've had a misunderstanding. That wasn't my intent. Here's what I'm trying to say. Things like that. Or, gosh, it's okay. It's okay. It's going to be okay. Let's figure this out together. Things like that tend to, and we've been in some pretty charged conversations in our careers just with what we do. Statements like that, really, you're immediately acknowledging it. You're telling the person that you hear them.
Right.
You're telling them that you understand, and you're telling them that you want to find a path forward. But what you're not telling them is that you're right or they're right.
I love that.
I start
Makes you feel safe.
almost every appointment I have, I start with the same question, which is, how can I help today? And, I think that sets the tone of, okay, like I'm here, I'm dressed, I'm ready, got my stuff, like I'm ready to, like this time is all yours. And, I think approaching life with a heart of service to other people is a huge part of it, right? Where I'm not approaching every day being like, what can I milk out of this day for me? I personally, not everyone, I find joy in helping people through difficult situations and getting to a better outcome that impacts people's lives collaboratively, so that it's not me that did anything. It's the we that did it all. And I love that. I love where we all win.
That's what I was looking for.
Yep,
right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
That is not ego. That is, what is it? What do you call that?
It's collaboration.
Collaboration, and it's also sharing the credit with everyone that had a part and an invitation to bring those people along with you, because everybody wants to win the day. There's nobody that gets up in the morning. Well, maybe there is. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people that get up in the morning and being like, how bad can I burn this one down?
I can't wait to suck today.
Right? We all want to make a difference. We all want to do a good thing. We all want to,
Everybody wants to win.
Yeah.
Whatever that word means to you.
Mm-hmm. And I think, it's the definition of community. Community is doing things that sometimes suck with people that don't suck.
Instead
right?
of one person standing out and looking like the winner, you're teaching everybody else how to do it as a group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I want to say too that being a in my 40s person before I got married, and when I got married, I was instantly a parent and didn't have any of the history or the lead up time to learn that skill set.
Just add water.
Here you go. Yep. And one of the lessons, one of the things, the skills that Jenny has taught me, and it's taken me a while to get it, like to understand it. Especially with kids. Just because you say you're sorry doesn't mean that you have to, you don't have to take that for somebody that has the mentality of winning, right? For them to say, I'm sorry, in that type of landscape, that is an admission of defeat. I'm sorry. I lost. I was wrong. Okay? But that's not true. You can be sorry for a statement, a behavior, an act, a thing that happens, and still win, if that makes any sense at all.
Yes, it does.
And I think if when you talk about ego, if you can adopt that mentality, that immediately lets you out of having to carry the torch of ego. I can say I'm sorry and not have that be an admission of guilt, wrongdoing, defeat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Another thing I just want to say that's a good little nugget is called taking the role of the other. So if you're going into a conversation with someone or whatever, a meeting, doesn't matter. Sometimes I will, on the way to that meeting, I will visualize all the people that are going to be around the table at the meeting. Mm-hmm. And I will literally kind of mentally put myself in each person's seat and try to see the situation as they see it. Asking myself questions like, what's important to them here? What are they concerned about? What is their motive in all of this? And full well knowing that everybody's motives aren't going to be like pure all the time, right? But that's discernment. So if I can go into a situation, a communication situation where I've done that exercise, a lot of times it gives me an upper hand because I can anticipate ahead of time what's going to be important to them. And it's not just so that I can win the day. It's because I really want to understand what is important to them in this situation, because that helps me be the leader of the collaboration, right? So then I know what's important to them, and then I know better what kind of role they can play in helping form a solution,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yes.
I become a better facilitator because I've done that exercise.
Yeah. And then there's that part of ego where you need to be happy for somebody else's successes. Can we break that down a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that's a hard one for
Yes,
people.
it is.
Because we live in this culture of competing with the Joneses, right?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
if they did this, then I have to do that. And if they have this, I need to have that.
Like more for you doesn't mean less for me.
Right. Exactly. And I think if I find joy in celebrating somebody else's joy, it fills my cup. It makes me happy. Just like with Jeremy. I can hear the joy in his message, and that brings me joy. Like, that's a cool thing to celebrate somebody else's achievement and accomplishment that they have clearly put some effort in and they've maybe had to overcome. Why does it have to be a competition?
And I think the cool thing about that message is that like Jeremy, I feel like Jeremy might agree, like if you would have taught me, or if you would have told me I would be sending a fan message to 2 lesbians in South Dakota, I probably wouldn't have believed it, but here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
And to me, that's a cool thing.
That's a cool thing.
Because we built a bridge there where
Yeah.
there might not have ever been one before. I mean, for a lot of people, we are the gays they know. Like we're the only, because we tend to have a lot of crossover with people like Jeremy and other kinds of people too. But I think that's really cool.
And I agree with you. And on the heels of that, if that's their introduction and their whole experience, wouldn't you want them to overcome any and every negative thing that they've ever heard from somebody else about those people?
Totally.
Yes.
Wouldn't you know what I mean? And not that that's what your question is based off of, but when you do talk about, excuse me, playing the role of the other and celebrating somebody else's achievement and letting go of ego, we do this a lot with both the kids. Is we will role play with both the kids and we will make them play the other person and we play them.
I love that you do that.
And even Claire came to me on Monday last week. She happened to be out at our house after school for something. And I asked her how her day was. And, she shared a couple of things that, it wasn't a 5-star day. And that's life. Life is not Instagram and 5-star days. And she kind of had this, and it is human nature to have a defensive position when something negative happens to you. It's human nature. And so I let her sit with that for a minute, and I said, can I ask a couple of questions? Can I just share maybe another perspective and another thought? And I love that both the kids are always so willing to be like, yeah, please, And I shared another perspective with her that I think gave her some insight to literally go, oh, I didn't think of that. So I shouldn't be offended. I shouldn't be feeling the way that I'm feeling. And I said, I'm not telling you how to feel. Like, that's not for me to tell you. But I'm asking you to maybe give this person the benefit of the doubt and maybe extend some grace and take it a step further and maybe ask them if you guys could go for a hike and talk it out. Because face-to-face conversation is always going to win.
Always.
And, I think that's...
And, the text of war doesn't ever win the day.
Gosh.
Right? Just
Yeah.
pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And I think, I pick up the phone more these days than I ever have because, well, it's just so much faster to just talk through something.
Don't you think in a high conflict or a rapidly moving situation,
stop
don't
texting.
you think, stop email, stop text, pick up the phone. It's
Everybody
so much
wants
better.
to be a keyboard warrior. And so, it's like you could go back and forth all day long because people that are keyboard warriors, that's what they are. Like they're going to keep at it until you wear out, run out of time, whatever. But it doesn't really solve anything or advance your communication objective to keep doing that tit for tat back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
When really you could just pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, Amy, let's talk this out." And 10 minutes later, generally, we're at a place of agreement.
Yeah, it's also good for you, when it comes to self-growth. Because you're like, wow, I did that, and that was the right thing to do, and I feel better about it. A text doesn't really leave you feeling that way.
No.
When you're voice to voice, there's something about that.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I do think there's kind of this shift that's about to happen culturally where, Jenny used to say, straighten the crown, right? When did we lose the ability to be a cheerleader for a neighbor, for a friend, and I do feel it. I feel as polarizing as things can be in day-to-day life, I think that people have had their fill of that.
Mm-hmm.
And there is this, it's like this, like the train is getting ready to leave the depot. And if you're on a train, it takes a while to get up to speed, unlike a car where you just hit the accelerator. Mm-hmm. And we have been in a car with the pedal down for too long. And it's changing. There is a shift. I see it. I feel it.
Well, I think people are just tired of extremes, right? Mm-hmm. And we're tired of like us and them mentality. And, as human beings, we are wired for connection and we are wired for community and we are wired for interaction. And unfortunately, we've accepted certain belief systems into our culture that has made those things difficult. Mm-hmm. But that's how we're made. Mm-hmm. And so we can't really deny how we're made. Like we're made to check on our neighbor. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you something that really transformed my life. A few years ago, I always do kind of a New Year, not really a resolution. It's more of like a New Year's intention. So I do a vision board and I have an intention. A few years ago, I challenged myself to do one handwritten note every day for an entire year. And honestly, people were tired of getting cards from me at the end of the year. Like, you don't need to send me a card because I got my period. But you run out of material after 365 of them. Yeah. That's probably more appropriate. So, but the way that it transformed me was it added a discipline in my life to cheerlead other people, to champion other people, to sit and on days when I didn't have any card to write, like trying to think about who I talked to or what kind of card I could send. Like it just transformed me in the way that it helped me think about other people more and me less. Mm-hmm. And that was really transformational for me because I think what exists in your life is what you look for and what you pay attention to. And so what I'm looking for is ways to champion you, Amy.
Right.
And so instead of being like, oh, like, okay, we did the podcast today, whatever. Like, it like I was sort of like a detective looking for clues about, what I could celebrate with someone or offer words of encouragement about, or say, hey, I'm here for you. I know this is a challenging time and I see you and I'm here. Or, let's have lunch or whatever. So
I love that.
And I think too, as we head into the last 2 months of this year, which are typically the most stressful 2 months for people because of the holidays and all of the expectations and whatnot that comes with that. I would encourage people, if they are having kind of this internal conflict or battle with themselves of like, I got to get out of this rut, or I want to do better, or I want to win, or how do I get this? Or, we talk a lot about just in our private life and our personal life about manifesting and about, setting good intentions and what have you. There's something to be said for you attract what you project.
right.
And if you
It's so
can,
true.
if you can walk with that mentality of what am I putting out and what do I want to bring in, I think there is an instant kind of head up, shoulders back openness that comes with that.
Yeah. Try it.
Try it.
Try it. Try some of those things and let us know how they work out.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
I think it's also good to choose at least one person a day to compliment.
Yeah. The random act of
It makes you
kindness.
feel so good.
Yep.
You could be having the worst day, and I could walk over to Jenny and be like, man, green looks so beautiful on you.
Yeah.
And man, just
And what did it cost
still
you?
feels so good.
You feel good too.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you're the one that's complimenting other people. And, it's never about, I just feel like I go into my day. Sometimes I say I go to work and I open a vein, and I just do that all day. But I think it's about, putting these little pennies in the bank. And at the core of it, I try to leave people a little better than I found them, all day long.
yeah.
And so I never want people to come away from an interaction or a meeting or a appointment with me being like feeling depleted or
That
feeling
was a
like
suck.
they didn't get anything they needed. They weren't seen. They weren't met. They didn't get real advice. I take that seriously. I want the best outcome for all of us.
If you build it, they will come.
We're all on the same team.
We are.
Yeah, we are.
Life's fucking hard enough, man.
Yeah.
Why stop making it harder?
We have so much more in common than we do differences. I wish people walked through their lives that way.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I just want to once again thank Jeremy for taking the time to send that message. I don't know that he'll ever understand how meaningful that type of exchange is for us.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yep. Definitely doesn't live in his ego.
No,
No.
not at
Not
all.
at all.
Nope.
Nope.
So good stuff.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Jeremy.
Great episode today. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. If people want to call and leave us a message, you can do that at 844-605-5433, or you can email us at info@theunicornprojects.com.
That's right. Have a great week.
All right.
Unicorn.
Love y'all.
Unicorn. Love you guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Unicorn Projects, hosted by Amy Rose with Jenny and Tina. Music by Caroline Kilty. Produced by Russ Haddon. Engineered by Chris Jaquez. It's the Unicorn Projects on the Home Slice Audio Network.